Hello, this is Bunting, and today I'm going to be going over sound design and production in the halftime style. Let's play this track. Alright, so what's going on here? I'll tell you, but first I gotta tell you this, that the majority of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you enjoy my stuff and are not subscribed, I'm talking to you, right? Do that. That'd be awesome for the both of us. That would help me out a lot. Anyways, first things first, in halftime, you need the BPM to be halftime. That refers to halftime from DMB, from drum and bass. See, now it's drum and bass, but put it in half at 80 or so, more or less 80. It's real funky, and you want your drums to be kind of hip-hoppy sounding. Little off-kilter, head bobbing beat. If you can't bob your head to it, I don't want it. Kind of acousticy sounding hi-hats, you know? I think they sound nice for this. And Foley. For Foley, I just found this sample from Reddit. Pick out a nice sample and make sure this is unselected so you can drag the fades. And I like to put it right before the snare for some extra movement. You know the deal. Alright, after that, I would say the next thing is to think of your riff. You know, just sit there, imagine it, jam it out if you know an instrument. That's what I ended up coming up with. And from there, it's really just filling that in with sound design, you know, having some cool hits on each little hit of your riff, and then throwing fills in everywhere else. So you end up with something like that. The non-riff parts of your track can be more kind of inharmonic, hence this crazy pitch bending. Crazy pitch bending, you know the deal. So as for sound design, I'm going to demonstrate the main kind of patch you're going to be working with this right here, right? And this main patch is what is known as a sine compression bass. I don't know, more like a sine clip bass if you ask me. But as the name implies, it's a sine wave. It starts off with a sine wave and it gets hella compressed. So I just use Vital for this because it has nice pitch bending and I know it's free, so you guys have it. So basic shapes, get your sine wave. Also might as well turn up your pitch bend range to 12 so you can use your pitch wheel to bend it and have fun with that. Awesome. Now the first thing I like to do is have a saturator, right? Your saturator has plenty of awesome options for just getting some new tones out of your sine. Turn up your drive. Turn up your bass. You can even mess with the depth and frequency. And for some extra movement down the line, you can automate it to your liking, you know, except I wasn't feeling it for this bass. We get plenty of movement from our next step, which is notch filters. For this, you just want to drag in an auto filter, or any plugin with a notch filter, really. You can also substitute distortion plugins, plenty of options, which I'll go over. Select this little notch here, and you can automate your frequency and have some awesome movement. Man, it's real fun. Next thing is amp. I just think amp is awesome for this kind of basses. It just sounds so good. Crisp it up real nicely. This is literally just the default amp on the blues setting. You have boost, clean, all these other settings for your different tones, and you have all these knobs to twist, to mess with. You can also automate all these for some extra movement, but this will do for now. OTT after that to beef it up further, turn the output up a bit, turn the time up so there's no kind of artifacts. More saturation, just doesn't affect the tone that much, but it just makes it a little louder. After all this, another notch filter. And you know, and notch filter, you can really throw it anywhere. You can experiment with putting it kind of in between your sound design on elements or whatever, you know, for some different results. And you could add more than 2. You can have 3, 4, just go crazy with it. And the icing on the cake that is our bass is this erosion. Now this is super common in halftime stuff. Once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. It's everywhere. There's no escape. You have the sine mode, but that's not what we're going for. We want the noise. You can change the amount of noise. You can change the width, like where on the frequency the noise lies. Frequency. You can make it wide, which is stereo or just mono. But I just like the default preset hiss because it hits right. It hisses. It does its job. It's a good thing. And after that, just a bit of compression, so it's not clipping, but forget clipping because I just turned up the decibels anyway. But really, for the rest of these basses, it's just a variation of this, you know? Different notch filters, different distortion settings. You can really just, see, look, I already have a new bass right there, just turning that. New bass right there, you know? Change your movement up. You could pitch bend it around, you could do a lot with it, you know? And that's your kind of main patch. So I'll just go over the rest of these patches quickly. And you see, you're not limited to one saturation setting. I like to use sine wave fold a lot because instead of a crispy tone like that, it gives it more of a harmonic tone. Putting an amp on it to crisp it up, OTT on it, a bit more saturation for some further crispage and loudness. Of course, your notch filter, and I decided to pass on the noise for this bass, and I volume automated it so it has a nice movement. Now this cool harmonic bass. For these kind of basses, you're not limited to just a basic sine wave. You can mess with the sine wave a bit, you know, and by mess with it I mean some FM, or you can layer it, but I'll get to that. So for FM, just get your sine wave, of course, select FM here, drag the knob wherever. Turn on your oscillator 2, turn down your level to 0, and mess with your pitch. Change your FM, change your pitch, you get different tones, it's awesome. Another option for this kind of sound, slightly different, but cool nonetheless, turn up your volume, turn down your FM. That's a nice layer, also harmonic series. Another way to introduce some cool harmonics to your waveform. But for now, just this, right? And pretty much similar processing. A little bit of notch filter automation, a little bit of OTT. No amp because thought it made it too crispy, kind of overwhelmed the harmonics. Of course, your saturators, more notch filters, more OTT, white noise, you know the deal. Something missing, but you get the idea. It's the FM. I didn't turn the FM high enough. This bass here is here to demonstrate that you're not limited to sine waves, you know? In fact, you can use a lot of different waveforms. Distorted sine waves are very common, though. This doesn't make too much of a difference, but just makes it all that more ear-destroying, having it on this saw wave instead. Have some compression and distortion. Just to absolutely slam it more. Notch filtering, of course, and this time on the rock mode. OTT, saturator, notch filter, white noise, and of course, you hear that pitch bend. Awesome stuff. Now time for this crazy flutter here. So, this is just a sine wave, right? I decided to take this hiss and change it. Typically, it starts off like this, but I wanted some messier, wider noise. So first I put it on mono because that's what I wanted it mono. I turn up the width and the amount. And when you slam that through a saturator, it just gets real messy. Add an auto pan to that. Auto pan, you want the phase down and put the amount up and rate on BPM. And you get a freaking gnarly result. Throw an amp on that. That is slamming. I just changed the auto pan rate for this one. Just automated it, right? Cool. So this right here, for some slight variation, I introduce a new kind of distortion, dynamic tube, right? Turn up the output, drive, and bias. And yeah, feel free to mess with your other distortion options. Like you got pedal, you have dynamic tube, you also have glue compressor. You can just soft clip it through there, which is pretty common. What else? That's about it. Even vinyl distortion if you're feeling crazy, you know, and just mess with all your settings within those. Plenty of knobs to turn, plenty of different results to get. And for this second bass hit, I duplicated the patch and just added another dynamic tube to slam it even more and turn some knobs on that bad boy. Now for this cool lead going on. You'll hear this in quite a bit of trap stuff and halftime stuff. And you might ask, how do you get this crazy, like, percussive pots and pan sound using a pot and pan? Who would have thought? And it honestly surprised me when I figured it out. But I just found this sample pack on Reddit and dragged it into a sampler just like this. I cut it off so it's just a little cleaner, easier to work with, and OTT'd it just to increase the perceived loudness of it, also real loudness by turning it up. Delay, right? Putting this on time mode, and you can kind of tune it and give it this cool layer of tonality. Mess with your feedback, all that jazz. Corpus, when you first open it, it sounds like this, right? But if you turn your decay down, it gives you another cool layer to introduce. You can mess with the tune to change the pitch, or you can have LFO do it for you, turning the amount and rate, messing with it. Just a cool layer for this stuff. And OTT after that just brings it all together. Saturation loudens it. Frequency shifter, that pitch bending effect with the fine tune knob. And just some compression to make it punch, and reverb to space it out. Yeah, so that's pretty much all your sound design here, except this little trick here, this reverse reverb. Now, like the name implies, you get this from using reverb and reversing it. You can apply this to anything. I chose to apply it to this bass sample, so I'm going to duplicate it like I just did with Control D, add some reverb to it, turn up the decay and dry wet all the way, and then we freeze it. And what this does, we're able to take this reverb, put it in audio format, and take the tail out and reverse it. You know, like that whatever Diplo song. Right? Okay. But here's our tail. And you could just hit reverse, and it makes a great placement wherever. You could audio fade it, I guess that's right. Throw it wherever, and you can use this on all types of stuff. It's just an awesome way to get some extra movement in your tracks. Also atmosphere, not just movement. I love this trick. You'll hear it a lot. Pay attention to your tracks. I'm sure you'll catch it here and there. But yeah, that's about all my stuff. Now, this isn't everything in halftime. Of course, there's a lot to it. And they use more sounds than this, than just heavily distorted sine waves, but this is a big part of its kind of signature sound. For more sounds like this, of course, check out the rest of the stuff on my channel. I have so many tutorials in this style and all that jazz. So if you learned something, if you enjoyed, leave a like. That'd be awesome. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, leave those in the comments. And if you want to see more like this, of course, subscribe. I post weekly, probably going to start posting more. And also, I do little live streams. If you want to sign up for live streams, everything's in the description. Support me on Patreon. You get access to project files. Join the Discord. There's a lot of stuff you can do. It's all in the description. Read the description. But thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. This is your boy Bunting, and peace out.